Welcome to Jikook Are Dating. Hope you're all doing well, Jikook fans. Today, I'm bringing you a video filled with joy, tenderness, and surprises because yes, our beloved Jikooks are back. And when I say back, I don't mean they're making drama. They're back to share the Jikook interactions we've all been missing. There's one city that every time Jungkook mentions it, his tone changes. Not louder, quieter, actually. And that's where everything feels different. Jungkook finally says it. Not about the stage, not about the music, but about Sapporo and the one person who's always been by his side, Jimin. Why is that snowy city so special? What really happened there that made Jungkook choose to be honest for the first time? This video isn't about rumors. It's about feelings too real to deny. Watch until the end, because after this, you might never look at Jikook the same way again. There are moments in Jikook's journey that feel so quiet, yet they're the loudest in his heart. Sapporo is one of them. The snowy city isn't just a beautiful backdrop or a tour destination. It transforms into a safe space, where Jungkook finally has the courage to confess feelings that had previously only been revealed through glances and small gestures. When Jungkook finally says it, ARMY knows. There's something truly special about Sapporo with Jimin. Sapporo isn't a big stage with cheers. It's a respite. Amidst the busy schedule, the flashes of cameras, and the demands of perfection, the city provides space to breathe. And in that space, Jungkook and Jimin's relationship is at its most honest. No script, no exaggerated words, just two souls understanding each other. From the beginning, Jungkook has been known to harbor deep feelings. He shows love through actions, not declarations. But in Sapporo, there's a subtle shift that can't be ignored. His tone softens when he mentions Jimin. His smile lingers longer. His gaze seems to say, I'm here and I'm safe. And that security, ARMY knows, comes from Jimin. Jimin, with his characteristic empathy, is always the balance. He never forces Jungkook to speak. He waits, accompanies, and reads the unspoken language. In Sapporo, we see Jimin not just as a partner on stage, but as a home. The way he leans in when Jungkook is silent. The way he smiles a little, as if to say everything is okay. That's Jikook's version of love. Calm, consistent, and caring. When Jungkook finally reveals his reason, why Sapporo is so special, it's not a bombastic confession. Quite the opposite. He speaks of simple feelings, comfort, calm, and understanding. Three things that may sound ordinary, but are incredibly rare for someone living in the spotlight. And those three things, once again, are always present when he's with Jimin. Sapporo is symbolic because it's where the line between public and private is most clearly felt. We see Jungkook not as an idol, but as a human being. We see Jimin not as a performer, but as a caretaker. Every step on the snowy streets, every chuckle in between the silence felt like an unspoken promise. I'm here for you. ARMY picked up on those subtle signals. Not from rumors or empty speculation, but from consistency. From the way Jungkook always looked for Jimin in the crowd. From the way Jimin always made sure Jungkook was okay. From the way Sapporo was mentioned in a different tone. Warmer, more personal. Beneath it all, there was one undeniable truth. Love doesn't always need to be declared. Sometimes it just needs to be felt. And Sapporo provided the perfect platform for those feelings to grow undisturbed. The city witnessed Jungkook choose gentle honesty, and Jimin accepted it with a reassuring calm. Perhaps that's why Jungkook's confession felt so heartbreaking. Not because of what he said, but because we know how hard it was for him to get to that point. And when he finally spoke, Jimin's name was there, as a reason, as a support, as a meaning. Sapporo will always be remembered not just for its snow, but for the warmth born amidst the cold. Because it was there, Jungkook finally said it. And it was there, we all realized, Jikook isn't about big moments, but about a small place in the heart that feels like home. Ultimately, this story isn't meant to be concluded, but to be felt. Like Sapporo. Like Jikook. quiet but full of meaning. If we take a deep breath and revisit the memories attached to Sapporo, we'll realize that this city isn't just a backdrop, but a witness to Jungkook and Jimin's inner journeys rarely seen by the public. Sapporo exists not as a spotlight, but as a protector. It envelopes them both with a calm coolness, as if giving them permission to pause from the ever-demanding world. In his long journey as an idol, Jungkook has grown under a light that never goes out. From a young age, he learned how to put on the best smile, how to speak with safe words, and how to keep his vulnerable parts hidden deep inside. But in Sapporo, those layers slowly loosened. Not because he had to, but because he could. Jimin always understood that boundary. He knew when to approach and when to simply walk beside. In that city, Jimin didn't try to be a flashy protector. He became a steady presence. Like gently falling snow, his presence wasn't intrusive, but calming. There were small moments that armies will always remember. When Jungkook laughed softly, not the big laugh he usually showed in front of the camera. When Jimin leaned in slightly, listening without interrupting. Moments that might have escaped the media spotlight, but felt so alive to those who understood the language of silence. Sapporo became a place where Jungkook didn't feel like he had to be strong all the time. He didn't have to be the perfect magne, didn't have to be the center of attention. There, he was just Jungkook, someone who wanted to be heard and understood. And Jimin, without a word, gave them that space completely. Their relationship has always been built on trust. Trust that not everything needs to be said. Trust that genuine feelings will find their way. In Sapporo, that trust felt real. There was no pressure, no demands. Only time passed more slowly. For Jungkook, admitting that a place was special was no small feat. It meant allowing the world to see the cracks in his heart. And when he spoke of Sapporo in a different tone, ARMY knew the city held something precious, something he didn't want to explain in lengthy words. Jimin understood that more than anyone. He didn't ask Jungkook to elaborate. He didn't wait for public recognition. He simply existed, and that was enough. In that simplicity, Jikook's love grew and endured. Over time, Sapporo became a symbol. Not a symbol displayed, but a symbol felt. It represented a safe space, honesty, and the courage to be yourself. It served as a reminder that even in a noisy world, there is always a place to be quiet and feel at home. ARMY saw all this not because they were told, but because they felt it. Jungkook's softer energy. Jimin's always ready to support him. It all forms an unwritten, yet powerful narrative. In Jikook's story, Sapporo is a chapter that will never close. It will continue to be mentioned, to be remembered, not because of what happened there specifically, but because of how those feelings were born and endured. And perhaps that's why Jungkook's confession feels so moving. He's not recounting a journey. He's opening a small door into his heart, and behind that door, Jimin has long stood. This story teaches us that love doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes as snow that falls silently,